It is great to be able to meet somebody for the first time who's in a really tough situation with a very scary new diagnosis and be able to tell them that we have a whole number of treatments that have a very realistic probability of working for them. And if the first one doesn't work, we have other options. And so to have that set of tools available is a huge benefit. Melanoma has kind of become the place where new types of therapies are being tested because we've made so many advances, and then we can sort of see, can we get additional benefit and then move them into other settings as well. My background is as a physician scientist, so those are folks that train to do research and see patients, and WashU is very well known for that. When I was finishing my postdoc and my clinical training, wanted to continue my research on melanoma, and then was looking for opportunities to combine that with clinical work. And in that kind of mid-2010s range, immunotherapy was just really taken off. And so folks were looking for people with an interest in melanoma, which has kind of been at the forefront of immunotherapy. It was like kind of a perfect opportunity to do both things. The animal model that we use of zebrafish has the same genetic mutation that most people with melanoma have. Zebrafish they're about this big, about 2 inches long. They are widespread in the world. The version that we work with was originally brought in from the Ganges River in Asia and was studied as what we call like a developmental model system. So people wanted to study brain development. They lay lots of eggs. They develop very quickly, and they're transparent, so you can watch the brain develop within 24 hours. And as we recognized, that was a really great tool for studying normal processes. They also share about 80% of the genes with us, with human beings. So if you want to study a cancer gene, the fish probably have the same gene, which is pretty amazing, yeah. And they also share many of the same organs. They don't have lungs, obviously, but they do have pigment cells like melanocytes that are very similar to our pigment cells. And so about 20 years ago, a researcher in the lab I did my postdoc put the variation of the gene that causes more than half of human melanomas in the zebrafish. And when you express high levels of that, the fish get moles, and those moles can then go on to become melanoma. And we've since studied that pretty extensively, many labs in the world. But when you look at them under the microscope, when you study the gene changes that they have, they look very similar to the human situation. And so we can grow thousands of fish in tanks and can do lots of experiments in pretty quickly and in large numbers. It's the speed and the scale that is a real advantage. Our zebrafish community is one of the largest in the world. We have one of the largest facilities with multiple rooms, literally tens to if not hundreds of thousands of fish, people studying all types of developmental biology, other types of cancer biology. The work that I did in my postdoc that I've continued here was, one of the hardest things to study in cancer is how does cancer start? We capture cancer when it is, a bump or it's a nodule on a scan, but we would love to be able to spot it earlier. And so with the fish, I, with my colleagues, were able to make we call a reporter fish, has a protein that glows green. And that when the cancer starts, the first cell turns green. And so you can see the initial cancer cell. The animals are alive and swimming around, and you can see that cell, and then it becomes two and onward to a whole tumor. We are working to understand why does that one cell grow first. With Google and such, many folks already come in, they're like, oh, like that's so exciting. And so, I think they'll be very intrigued by it. One of the things I love about oncology these days is like you have many year relationships with patients. In addition to obviously focusing on their care, they ask about, how are things in the lab? What are you most excited about? And so we get to talk about that. And they're, I think genuinely excited that, even if maybe they're not on an exact clinical trial right now, but they still are intrigued and excited that they're part of a place that is doing research. And that certainly I try to learn from each case and how we think about our research. So I think they're all contributing to that. One of the goals of going through a lot of training that we all go through is that we hope, a part of our research becomes a part of the treatment that helps people. And that I've had the good fortune to work with folks who've seen that through, and I think there's very few other experiences that are like that. So the patients who take part in the trials that get these drugs approved is an incredible contribution from them as well. Oh, I mean, I think WashU, in addition to combining those aspects, I mean, I think they're always forward-looking, bringing in the newest technologies, particularly in the cancer realm and the oncology realm. The numbers of trials and the array of clinical situations is as complex and new as anywhere in the world.